I've been watching this small anime. You might have heard about it before. No, but seriously, Frieren Beyond's Journey's End is the latest anime that has taken the entire anime community by storm, and I can see why. It's one of the few stories that has moments that just makes me sit down and I'll go, damn, what the fuck am I feeling? It's this weird feeling of awe, sadness, and hope. The only other series that did that to me was Oyasumi Punpun, and that's been an established legendary manga for years now. In case you haven't seen Frieren, it's about Frieren's journey set in a typical JRPG world with a demon king who's terrorizing the whole world. And her goal? Well, simple, to defeat the demon king and bring peace to the whole world. It's a simple story. A lot of other stories have done that as well. The twist? Frieren is about her story after defeating the final boss. But who's Frieren? Well, Frieren is an elf, and in this setting, elves are immortal. And being immortal sounds good and all, but it's not the best thing out there. And the story deals with her outliving her companion. You might think that being immortal is great. You'll be in your best shape forever. But if you want to know more about the negative side effects of being immortal, I highly recommend either To Your Eternity or UQ Holder. Both are really great, and they really go deep into the mechanics of being an immortal. For me at least, it really feels like a fresh breath of air. Pretty much every story has its story played as you're consuming the media, which in this case would be seeing how Frieren gets stronger, how we're exploring the world, how she eventually destroys the sub-bosses, the commanders of the Demon Lord's army, and then eventually getting to the Demon Lord itself before one final epic battle where she kills the final boss. But this show is different. The big story has already happened and 100 years have already passed since then. What's the point in living forever after you've had your story play out and now that you've become a hero? Isn't this supposed to be happy ever after? Well, this series doesn't really have anything happening, to be honest. There's no big overarching enemy that you have to kill. There's no big goal like becoming the Pirate King or the Hokage. It's just Frieren's life after already becoming the hero. So she goes around the entire country and people vaguely recognize her as that weird elf standing next to the other heroes in the statues. That's how much everyone knows her legend. But the worst part of it all is I don't understand why the story is sticking so much with me. I don't know why I find it beautiful. It just is. In a world where the destination is everything, Frieren is telling me that it's okay to take a detour and to enjoy the moment, to enjoy the mundane things in life. Think about our lives right now. We go to school, go to work, then retire. And in school, everything revolves around getting grades as high as possible. And in work, you work towards promotions or better pay. But how often are we sitting down, putting our phones away to just stare at clouds or flowers and really take in the scenery? I remember in the days before technology took over literally every part of our life. When I was a super small kid, I would play outside and I couldn't just boot up YouTube and just go watch PewDiePie or something. No, I would literally go outside, pick up a rock and play pretend. I would be like, yo, this rock, it's a dragon now. It has mystical powers. And sometimes I would just go around, pick a random daisy or something. Maybe pick 10, maybe pick 100. Or I would literally just lie down, enjoy the breeze and just stare at clouds for an hour. Can you imagine that right now? I literally couldn't. While I'm recording this, I can feel how much I'm enjoying this process of learning how to create better videos. And I know that this video that you're watching right now probably won't have more views than maybe 10. I'm literally sitting at 155 subscribers right now. And my goal for every video that I'm uploading right now is 10% of my subscribers, which is just an arbitrary number. I just put it there. And it means that I want this video to have about 15 views and then I'm happy. But really thinking about it, 15 views is fuck all. It's nothing. But because it's a goal that I set for myself, knowing that 15 people clicked on the video and watched a part of it, that already makes me happy. I find it good enough. I'll eventually get better at making videos. And when the videos get better, that's when I set a higher goal for myself. But right now, this is probably my 7th video or something that I'm just talking with gameplay footage in the background. And I want to slowly but surely get better while releasing these videos one by one, talking about these random things, getting better at storytelling, getting better at writing, and it's just fun. And if you want an example that's maybe a little bit more recognizable, as I'm recording this, I can see in the background my lucky charm. I bought this at the biggest temple in Tokyo, in Asakusa. It was this small little shop in the big street, because when you're walking from the streets towards the temple, the whole way there, it's completely filled to the brim with little stores. And the first one that I went into, I saw this little charm and I thought, I want a souvenir. So I got one. And it wasn't about going to the temple. I don't even remember the temple. Sure, there's things about the temple that I remember, but I don't remember the specifics. But I do remember getting this charm. Frieren has really shown me that the destination doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Sure, work towards your goals. You'll become a great hero like Frieren was, but don't forget to enjoy enjoy the process in the meantime, even if the process is something that really hurts it. And I think that you should embrace the hurt, as that's precisely what's showing us that we're human. Not every moment has to feel like we're injecting pure ecstasy, and not every moment should feel like it's completely depressing. Take the time to do whatever you want, and if you truly find something cool you see on the side, then totally go for it. Those are the moments that are truly special. I was on a vacation in Singapore a couple of years ago with two buddies, and they had a pretty tight schedule with what they wanted to see and where they wanted to go, so I didn't want to do that, and I took a detour, and I found an arcade next to the place where we stayed at, inside a shopping mall. If you want to know, it's called Bookies Plus. I had a whole adventure there because I wanted to play the games that I saw and I couldn't. I tried asking around, but it was a bit hard. The people there speak Singlish, not English. It's like English, but with an extremely heavy Singapore accent. But eventually I figured out what they were saying, and I bought this card, very specific for that arcade apparently. They had their own card, and I had to top it off with a bit of money, and then I could play. And after trying out a bunch of different games, I found my favorite game, and it's called My. It was a rhythm game where you have to hit the spots on the rim of the circle to the beat, but you also have to glide over the screen because it's a touchscreen every now and then. Especially on the harder levels, you have to go really fast, so you need gloves. The game was so fucking amazing. I asked some guys, they were nice enough to tell me that I should go to a dollar store nearby to try and get gloves because it's in Singapore and constantly 30+C. No normal store would sell gloves. Thing is, I googled it, and apparently it was 40 minutes on foot and it was scorching hot outside, so I did the next best thing that I could think of, which was walk into every clothing store that I could find. Didn't work. But they also had a bunch of clothing stalls, and at stalls I could find a bunch of random clothing, like I was at a market or something, and eventually I found it. This grandma had gloves, but it was kind of weird because they were winter gloves, but it's extremely hot outside, and I feel like it's something that I would buy here. Even now, I still have the gloves. They are also extremely tiny, so even though I tried playing with them for a long period of time, I just couldn't. My fingers wouldn't fit in. So after I buy the gloves, I look around me and I see a special MapleStory promotion. And I was never that deep into MapleStory, but it was still fun to see, especially because I thought that MapleStory was dying, that the community was getting really small, but apparently not. Maybe it just wasn't the case in Singapore or something. You can do these fun and small interaction with the promo material. One of the things that I had to do was I had to whack a mushroom as hard as I could and then collect my stamp afterwards, and after collecting a certain number of stamps, I could get a reward. And the first 100 or so people were eligible to get a plushie. Sadly enough, I didn't. I was too late. But I did get stickers and probably some keychain or something. I don't know. It was one of the souvenirs that I haven't kept over the years, so it was probably nothing special. The important thing is, what I want to say is, it's not about getting the plushie or the souvenirs that I got in the end, or the gloves even, or doing as much as you possibly can while you're on vacation to get your money's worth out. No, in that moment, I didn't feel like joining the boys doing their touristic stuff, and I still got to enjoy myself. The detours are probably the most memorable adventure that you can have, and I think that they're the most fun you can have, especially if you go into them with zero expectation that your detour is amazing. Sometimes you get a good detour like I did that day, and sometimes your experience can be shitty, but at least you tried something else besides what you're used to or what you planned. A character in Frieren, Himmel, has shown us on multiple occasions that an adventure is not about the destination, killing the Demon King. An adventure is something to be enjoyed in the moment, and sometimes that involves just sitting down and enjoying the smell of flowers that bloomed that day. Sometimes you just have to rescue your dumb elf who keeps falling for the same trap. But he's also shown us that it isn't a black and white mindset. You can definitely work towards your goal, like how he built statues around the world, or how he built legacies everywhere so that the future Frieren isn't alone when he's passed away from old age. Those were a couple of his plans. He realized that he was gonna die way before Frieren would ever age, and didn't want Frieren to be alone when he's gone after they killed the Demon King. So while they were on an adventure, they built a bunch of these different statues and also helped a lot of people in seemingly meaningless way. But the fact that they helped a bunch of the average people in these seemingly meaningless way, their stories kept alive. And so you can actually see this in the anime, where Frieren just goes around doing her own thing. People recognize her as Frieren, and then the whole town is like, oh my god, I remember when you guys helped us push the cart and then rescued our bison from the sun. Something like that happens constantly in the anime. But yeah, I highly recommend you watch Frieren, or at least give it a try if you haven't done so yet. And if you don't like it, that's fine. At least you went off the path to try something new. If you've seen it, let me know how Frieren has affected you down in the comments below. And if you like this style of video, make sure to subscribe. I'm planning to keep making these videos for a while. Subscribing helps me out a lot. Anyways, goodbye and see you in the next video.
Take your beat back.